Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Now, I'm here with Charlene, and normally Charlene is one of the most positive people you could, meet. But Charlene, even you'll be struggling today. Will come out positives
Do you know,
from that performance.
I'll be completely honest. I am really, really struggling to find any positivity. There's not really much positives that we can take from that game. Absolutely disappointing performance. I just don't know what happened today. We looked like a completely different team. It was just a bad day of football for us. We really need to sort of reflect, pick ourselves up, and just try and persevere forward for this one.
Yeah, so many players were off it today. So many that I won't even start to name them. Pretty much everybody. Is there any explanation for that? Is it tiredness? Is it lack of confidence? Is it? I don't know. I mean, you tell the people. What do you think it is?
Do you know, it's quite hard to actually pinpoint where we actually went wrong today. I think it may be something to do with the starting 11. We can't, sort of blame injuries or anything, because we've got Gabriel back. We got Saliba back from his suspension. We got Saka back on the pitch, Timber back. So, I think it was just the starting 11, maybe it just didn't seem to be working at all. We had Havertz playing out of his position. We obviously had Partey playing in the right back position. And it just felt like we was really lacking something. We did make some changes, second half we saw that Havertz was now playing up top, which did actually change a bit, and we started to look a bit more brighter, a bit more positive. Ethan Nwaneri, when he came on the pitch, we did see something a bit better, but it's a whole team performance. It takes a whole 11 men on the pitch to really make a difference. And there was just, not enough from the team.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, because a lot of people, both online and people I've spoken to since the game, are saying that they were very disappointed that the manager didn't make changes earlier. Some of those people are suggesting that there should have been wholesale changes at half time. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think he could have been a bit more proactive with his in-game management?
Yeah, I mean, from the way the first half of the performance went, he did change something with the players that we had on the pitch, but maybe he did need to bring on a different player. We know Mikel Arteta, that's not his style to make half-time substitutions. But in a situation like today, where we are falling behind on points in the table, sometimes you just need to be ruthless with your decisions and with what you set out in the first half. If it doesn't work, fair enough. Let's fix it while we've still got enough time to. So, maybe he should have been a bit more ruthless and just said, look, I'm just going to change this up completely. We need the 3 points today, and that's what I'm going to go out there and get. So, he could have just changed it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. How do you assess Arsenal going forward from here on in? Because, as has been stated, we're falling behind in the Premier League race. I think it was Gunnar Lee that was saying if City do win, they could go 8 points clear today. I mean, hopefully that gap is not insurmountable, but it is a big gap. What do you think Arsenal need to do now in order to get themselves back on track?
It is a huge gap, and I don't really want to write us off, so early in the season and just say, okay, now we're not going to win the league. However, obviously with the performance like today, it's not really filling us with a lot of confidence. But what we need to do is we need to learn from our mistakes. We need to rectify our mistakes. We need to plan and prepare and just show that strong mentality that we were showing last season, where we've got that fight and that passion to try and win games. We do know that.
Did you think that the fight and passion was there today, though? Because I've got to say, from where I was watching,
there was none of that.
Exactly.
And I think that's where we went wrong. It was probably the mindset as well, because normally we show that passion and that fight. And I didn't see it until the last 30 seconds of the game. That is just not good enough. So, in terms of the gap as well, Man City potentially going, 8 points ahead of us. We need to tighten up. We need to realise that this is serious. There is no time in this league that we can afford to be dropping points in situations like this.
That's 3 games now without a win. And is there any players that have not featured much this season that you think right now they need to come in? Or would you make any drastic changes for the games coming up?
Do you know, it's a bit difficult because we got to factor in, injuries that we've been faced with. But I feel like, we did kind of we put out strong players today. I think the main player that we are missing is Odegaard. It's very evident in our games. So I'm looking forward to him returning. Hopefully he's back very soon because we're missing him so much. And I feel like once he is back and amongst the team, hopefully we can start picking things up again and, get back to playing the type of football that we know Arsenal can play.
Yeah, you're right in saying that. I mean, he'll definitely give the team a lift, certainly in terms of going forward. But I would have to say, even defensively, we've not looked as good as we were looking earlier on in the season. Now, today, I've got to say, Newcastle, shout out to them. That their goal that they scored today was a brilliant goal. Brilliant cross by Anthony Gordon, brilliant header by Isak. Probably be unfair to dig the players out over that goal today. However, we've not looked as solid at the back in recent games. Do you think that's a fair comment?
I think that is a fair comment, and I think it could be down to the disruptions that we've had. Obviously players that have been injured, although they're back fit, they're playing. We don't know if they're still sort of holding on a bit, mentally or physically, if they're still sort of being challenged with the injuries that they've faced. So there's a bit of that, and there's just constant changes, it seems to be, in that back line, through suspension as well. So hopefully we can get back to that solid defensive performance that we had, in prior games. We definitely need to bring that back.
And of course, there's a game coming up in the midweek, a bit of a respite from the Premier League. In the Champions League, we're unbeaten in that. Do you think that we can get things back on track? I mean, it will be a difficult game. It's away. How confident are you or not for that game in the midweek?
Do you know, we need to get things back on track. So we need to keep that, winning streak going. Definitely need to go out there against Inter. We just need to pick ourselves up from today and just know, okay, now we start preparing for the next game. We need to be getting points there as well. Can't afford to just keep deflating, regressing. It's about progression now. So we need to go out there and get a win in that game.
And of course, you're known as the positive person in the Arsenal fan base. Give us some words of encouragement going forward. I know you said we need to get back on track, but give me some encouragement, man, because today I was watching that and I just felt, wow, this is like really a hard watch.
It was a painful watch, Laurie. Even I was speechless. I was like, I genuinely don't know what to say, but I'm going to put on my positivity hat. And what I'm going to say is, look, we've had a bad day of football today. Very deflating. I'm absolutely gutted that we didn't get the 3 points, but we need to pick ourselves up, put our emotions aside, pick ourselves up and just know that, look, we've still got a lot of things to fight for. So we just need to keep pushing forward, learn from these mistakes and just keep aiming to do what we do best, which is to go out there and win games.
Well said. I think the only positive I can draw from that is to say that was probably as bad as it gets for Arsenal. I think it was Lee was saying that's the worst performance of the year. I'd said previously the worst performance of the season so far. Gunnar Lee says worst performance of the year. I think we have to take a crumb of comfort by saying we're probably not going to play as bad as that again for a long, long time. And that's about it. Do you agree?
I totally agree with that. And with the way Arteta is, I'm sure he will definitely be having a word with the players, a firm word as well. And I'm sure he's going to do something to try and, uplift their spirits and get them hungry and driven and passionate and get them back out there performing to a much higher standard, which we know we're capable of doing.
Well said. Maybe you should do the team talks for us.
Maybe I should.
Bring a bit of positivity to the table. But thanks so much.